Roil is a better way to enjoy content on the internet, and I'm going to show you how to use it. After logging in, you will see 4 tabs: Scroll, Follow, Fandoms, and Account. The Scroll tab is where you see the latest content that you personalize to your interests. Just click on items to watch videos, listen to audio, or read articles, whatever kinds of content interest you. If you click on these 3 dots, you can do additional things, such as save the item to view later, or share the item with others. Here you can comment on the item. And if you click this, which is the name of the feed, in this case, Fresh Air, Roil will show you more items from just this feed. At the top, you can see that it shows that you are looking only at this feed, Fresh Air. If you want to go back to viewing everything, just click the X. Finally, if you want to post content yourself, you just click on this Post button. On the Follow tab, this is where you can view your saved feeds, which are just sources of content. The feeds are things like YouTube channels, podcasts, or websites, so it is having feeds in your account that determines what items you see on the Scroll tab. The Follow tab is also where you can add new feeds to your account. You can actually organize your feeds into different groups, called Fandoms. Here you can see all the feeds that are in my Favorites fandom. If I want to add a new feed, I go to the Follow Search tab. Let's say I want to add the podcast Freakonomics Radio. You can see that it is already known to Roil. I'm now going to add it to my account, and now I get to choose which fandoms I want to put it in. You can see that I have created several fandoms, and I'm going to add this podcast to both my Favorites fandom and a fandom I call Interesting. If I go back to this tab, On Favorites, you will see I am now looking at all the feeds that I have on my Favorites fandom. If I wanted to look at a different fandom, I can just click on the pull-down menu and look at the feeds in any one of my fandoms. But I put this feed in Favorites, so let me show you that it's there. If you go to the bottom, you will see it. Now, what happens if you want to find a feed that isn't already known to Roil? For example, let's say that you are a fan of The Office, and you want to add The Office YouTube channel. I can search for it, but I happen to know that it isn't currently known to Roil. So I'm going to show you how to add it. All you have to do is go to the Office YouTube channel webpage, copy the URL, go back to Roil and paste the URL into the search. When you hit the Discover button, Roil should be able to discover this feed. There it is. And you can see that this is worthy of a little celebration, because we didn't just find the feed for us, but we have now found it for everyone who wants to add this feed to Roil. From now on, Roil will find this feed when anyone searches for The Office. Now we can add this feed to one of our fandoms. I will add it to my entertainment fandom. And now let's look at the Fandom tab. This is where you can see all your fandoms. When you start out with a brand new account, you start with just one fandom, called Favorites. Each fandom has 3 buttons. By pressing on Feeds and Tags, you can see the feeds and tags that have been collected in this fandom. I've already talked about feeds, but hashtags can also be added to fandoms in order for that fandom to gather any Roil posts that have included that hashtag. By pressing on Similar Fandoms, you can see other fandoms that contain feeds similar to this one. This is a way to introduce you to new fandoms you might like that others in the Roil community have made public. By pressing on Scroll, you can view the content items that this fandom brings you. But you can view it in one of 3 ways. You can browse the items that are brought to you by the feeds and tags in this fandom, or you can view the items that have been saved to this fandom. Or, if you are looking to engage in a discussion with others, you can specifically view items in this fandom that have been commented on. Fandoms are a way to focus your viewing interests. If I want to view science content, I can browse my science fandom. If I want to view items from just my most favorite feeds, I can browse my Favorites fandom, as I am doing now. You can see that a podcast from Freakonomics Radio now appears while I'm browsing my favorites, because I just added that feed. You can change your fandoms easily. You can go back to the Fandom tab if you want, or you can do it from this pull-down menu. Now I am browsing Science, and now I am browsing Favorites. If you want to browse content from all the feeds in your fandoms, you do that by selecting All. So All is great because it shows you a mix of items from all the feeds you enjoy. But choosing a specific fandom allows you to browse with more focus. And getting around is easy. Just use this pull-down menu to either change the fandom, or change whether you are browsing the fandom, viewing the commented or saved items, or you can even check the feeds and tags that are in that fandom. Let's go back to the Fandom tab. If this were a new account, we would only have the Favorites fandom. So how do we add new fandoms to our account? Just click on the New button. Give it a name. I'm going to make a fandom called Beginning Guitar. I will write a short description, lessons and guitar info for beginners. I can indicate whether I want to make this fandom private or public. If I make it public, that means that others on Roil can also view this fandom or even save this fandom on their account, and you will have followers. Or you can make it private for just you and those you specifically invite. I'm going to make it public and then add this fandom. And now I can add different feeds that provide lessons or learning materials for beginning guitar. The last thing I want to show you is how to take advantage of public fandoms. Let's say you want to see content about animals. I could create my own fandom called Animals and add feeds to it. But I could also see if someone from the Roil community has already done this and made the fandom public so everyone can see it. So to do this, I go to the Fandom Search tab. I'll search for Animals, and there, I have found a fandom called Animals. I can look at the feeds, funny pet videos, animal facts, funny animals life, etc. This looks like what I'm looking for. So I am simply going to go back to the Fandom tab and press this plus sign to add this fandom. Now, if I go back to my saved fandoms, you'll see that this fandom, Animals, has been added to the list. There are plenty of other things to learn about Roil, but these are the basics, and it is more than enough to get started enjoying what Roil can do for you. There are plenty of other Roil Tips tutorials on our Roil Tips channel, which is a feed that you will find automatically in your favorites fandom, so that you can find help whenever you need it. I hope this has proved helpful, and welcome to Roil.